All right, hello and welcome to this Rubberstamp show and tell slash unboxing. What I have here are some upcoming Deanna's Tubb-Sedillo background papers here. I haven't seen these at all, and for those of you who know what these papers are, or the concept of them, then this is just some new ones coming out on the horizon. And for those of you who don't know, they are some background papers executed by Deanna. I think most of them are pan pastels. They might be multimedia, but I'm not sure. Okay, so she has shown me some test printed ones, okay? These are not the ones that are coming out. I don't believe they might be, but okay, so these ones are, I'm not sure what media they are. Now, she's printed these ones out for me to take a look at. This one's definitely a pan pastel here, but like I said, it could be multimedia. But anyways, these are background papers that are really fantastic for just rubber stamping in general to give you especially some quick, what I call quick scenes. I mean, they don't have to be, you know, with everything kind of already established on here in terms of the general kind of I'm going to say the main thrust of the kind of the emotional tone and definitely the color theme of your scene. These papers are really fantastic for that. But they can be just something where they are already kind of set in terms of your main theme. You can just stamp silhouette stamps in front of it and be done with it. But they're, what I found from working with them is they're a lot more, kind of malleable. You can really alter them or enhance, manipulate them for certain types of looks. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so these ones I don't think are in the next release, okay? But she's shown me these just to kind of play around with them and test them out. Let's see here. Okay, let's see what, these are the ones, okay. Okay, now these ones are the same way. She has left me a note. These ones are not coming out in the next release at least. But I know these are really fantastic. So like a sunset type of thing or sunrise right here. Okay. So a lot of these are, for me, I thought they kind of established where your horizon generally would be. Okay. So this one right here, I mean, you can use it. I'm looking at it both ways, like this way and this way. I generally probably wouldn't do something this way, but I started looking at them a lot differently where I thought they were a lot more definitive. This one's very general right here. You can use it portrait or landscape, I think. But for me, I don't know, it gets me into a certain mindset. Okay, now this one right here, those are definitely mountains in the background, so this is definitely top and bottom. I don't think we would do it this way unless we're just kind of making a point just to be, contrarian or, contrary or something like that. But I mean, you could do something like this that looks like wildflowers right there or something like that and some grasses. And this could be like a reflection down here. This could be your water area. I guess you don't have to be that much of a contrarian. That seems to make sense in that way, at least out here in California. You could put like something like right here, like some cattails or reeds like that, some things like that. You can put like something running right here, some horses running, and they'd be reflected down here in the water. You can do that if you do it like a mirror impression stamp or something like that. Okay, so something like this. This could be your horizon right here. This could be a hill or something like that. You can put like silhouette types of things right in here. Or, this seems to make sense this way as well. You can have your landscape areas down here. But for me, the darker it was in my mind before, definitely top and bottom, the more silhouette you had to go. Okay. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it a little bit differently these days because I see these cards like, I see them, you know, what we would get as like a whole like this. Okay. This is our card. It's going to be a certain type of dimension like that. And that's the way we're going to use it. But the thing is, I started doing more things like reflection cards, horizon cards. So this could be potentially like one component. It could be a half of a card because I'd have the reflection area down here, or a horizon area down here where it's just like the landscape down here in a card. So it's like you're opening up the card this way. Okay. And then we have other things down here. So the reflection, horizon type of interior card kind of format, has really opened up some doors for me in terms of, you know, pre-stamped, pre-executed backgrounds like that. So like something like this too, if I have a limited amount of these, for me, I really love this whole background right here. So when I do a reflection type of format down here, I would do it in silver, not in gold like this, but I get two of those moons and two of this really cool kind of area down here reflected. Again, this is a gold one. I would use silver on this one here. But, for me, that opened up a lot of, kind of different possibilities, at least in my mind. Okay, let's get to the sets. These are the ones that you guys are going to want to see here. Now, these are all preliminary things. When you get them, when you buy a pack of these, it's going to be like multiples of them. And it's going to be multiples of each one of these. Okay, now in the back, and on the back of these too, let me see. She has executed the backs of these as well. Okay, so if you're doing some sort of card and it's like, oops, I dropped a stamp or something like that. You have the back of the card as well to do, a scene on. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what we have. Okay, look at this. Looks like a sun coming out of the mist or something like this. This is a really beautiful lower area down here. Or again, is that lower or is this upper? Or is it the whole thing and you're doing it in... I should go get a piece of silver cardstock. Here's a piece of silver cardstock right here. Or is this a reflection card type of thing where you can put this down here? This could be your horizon, or you do it this way and you get this area right down in here with a shoreline type of thing. It's kind of giving me this, really kind of plush meadow, maybe in the spring where it's really green. We stamp a bunch of cattail types of things right in here. Yeah, a lot of different possibilities. Portrait, I'm sure if there was like some kind of challenge, I can come up with something, in terms of a portrait here. But the green and this kind of lighter white area would kind of... we'd have to do something with that. I would have to stamp like a art foamy like tree trunk over here, I think, to do something like that. But really fantastic here. This one right here looks like hills down here or something like that with the mist like this. Okay. And we get this beautiful type of thing in here. We do these things called photo stamping. Okay. And you can take something like this. There's prints out there that are really fantastic to, or photographs that you can print out that would be really fantastic to stamp on for photo stamping. But when you get this kind of hand-done type of imagery, it has a different feel to it, in terms of just the handmade aspect of things. It becomes more, kind of, I don't know, special, unique, being that you're in kind of collaboration with Deanna when doing this type of thing. So it's that too. So I don't know. I think it's when you get one of these pieces and you're putting in that type of work, it's like the whatever the sum is, or whatever the end result's greater than the sum of its parts when it comes to something like this. Something like this right here. So Deanna's kind of, as she does each one of her releases, she's using them too. That's one of the great things about these papers here is that Deanna's really fantastic scenic stamper. So she knows kind of what types of things, backgrounds she wants in stamping. So I'm sure when she's executing this, she's thinking in ways that these can be used for, how she would use them if given that setting like this. So something like this, she's created this water line down here, and this is almost, it's like a rule of thirds type of thing. So this line's roughly like a third, third, and third like that. So she's given us kind of the structuring that, lends itself to like really good kind of formal compositions, which I use a lot. I use the rule of thirds a lot. So you'll see this right down there. So here's another piece right here. Do you see this right here? You see how this kind of lines up with this area down here? So again, this is kind of like the rule of thirds. So she's kind of established that, but she's also established this right in here, these lines, and see how these go at a different angle like that? It's to give the space kind of some inherent movement in the piece. So if you kind of create diagonals within a certain composition, it creates a sense of movement like this. You can feel it moving down that way. Now, I would probably, the natural kind of position for this one seems like this to me. This one right here, this one could be anything. This is like a deep space type of thing. And this is interesting right here. It looks like she's splatter painted this texturing on here. And so when this was photographed, all those little textures have a little bit of this. The light was coming from here, so there's a little bit of shadow on the back of those. So that makes that area in there. It's subtle, but I can see it. But it makes this space seem a little bit more raised textural from a textural standpoint. So it's a little bit more 3D. But on something like this, these deep space kind of objects like this could be this like a gaseous planet or something like that, or like a nebula or something like that. It could be like dunes or something like that. Sand dunes, actually, that's what this one kind of gives me more of a kind of a feeling of like that, being the color like that. More of those brown tones like that. But again, it's kind of, there's like varied interpretations that you can get from each one of these. And that's what's really kind of fun about them. Sometimes I got to kind of look at these, and I look at them, and I don't think, I might come up with something kind of right off the bat. But for me, I find it's almost kind of better if I look at these and I kind of go back to it and decide what I want to do with it later. Now, if something really comes to mind, hey, I got to use, the saguaro, cacti or something like that in there. I got this person right there. Then I think you should kind of do that. But, it's like, we're going to do the same. I think 5 of these or 4 or something like that. Or I think there's multiples of each one of these that come in each pack. So, I don't know if you want to do the exact same thing with each one, but that's where kind of the subconscious kind of compositional structuring comes to mind. Now this one right here, clouds like this, striations are kind of going across this way. So this is probably more of a, landscape type of format like that. You can see. This one to me, it seems like this right here. That's my first instinct. But again, I've found that, if I've kind of like thought about it over time, I don't know, it's like weird things, it's like I'm exercising a different part of my brain when I get these papers and start working with them. They're kind of addictive too. Okay, this one right here, warm sun down here. Is this like some water or ocean type of thing going on down here? Could be. It could be all sky like this if you put some like trees in front of this too. Like that might be kind of interesting. That's like a deep space type of thing right there. Or you can have it like this too, and you can have like some kind of silhouette-y things down here. Or again, what I was talking about, in terms of like mirror imaging, something like this would be kind of interesting. When you do something like this, this orb right here, it isn't like an oval, like if it was on slightly more oval looking, like if it was on the horizon. So it's more rounded. So you could do something like this if you wanted to. And it'd be kind of interesting. And you can extend things out too. That's the interesting thing about this, okay? So she's established these things like this. But what I started doing was I started kind of adding to some of these things. Like if I wanted more white in here, like I wanted to put something in here that's dark, but I would need that to be a little bit lighter for it to show up. So I'd add in some extra things like white pigment ink. It was like, oh my gosh, you can really alter these things. So there's like real kind of sculptural types of forms in here in terms of her cloud formations. But if you wanted to, it's almost like adding on extra kind of layering, where you're kind of molding those. It's almost like the cloud forms or something like that. Especially, they become a little bit more malleable. So you can add something to this in order to stamp something else. Okay, so you don't have to just stay with a certain type of value in terms of light and dark. You can alter it a little bit, like when we're adding in mist or something like that with white pigment ink. Or, like I said, if this is something that's a given darkness, I can do things like, you can add this down in like some kind of horizon card type of format, and you can have other things that are darker down here, and then having it next to something like this. This looks really dark right here, but if we put like a black right next to it, suddenly this becomes lighter by contrast, so it just seems lighter. So there's little things like that. This one right here, this one seems up and down to me like that. Those are my kind of instincts like that when I look at some of these. There's like really specific things that come to mind. Like I see a sailboat on the horizon or something like that out here. This almost looks like you can see like underwater too. Be kind of interesting to have like some of my dolphin or something like that right in here. Or if we had something, you can put them underwater right in here with a boat up top like this jaw shark right here. All right. So anyways, they look like a lot of fun to me. And like I said, they're kind of addictive. And I was going through like my entire stack of papers that Deanna had sent to me before to play around with and test out. And there were a couple of them, like I said, I didn't know what to do with them at first. But as I got working with them, it's like, oh, that other one, I know how to do that one now, because I started doing things like even like certain things, like, I don't know. There was one of them especially. I don't know if I would do any of them here, but you could almost see if this was like halved, I was almost like making a note card. I was folding it in half where this like became the horizon card. Like if I wanted to fold this in half right here, this would be my sky. This is almost like in half right here. Okay, so that'd be like the half point. And this could be my water area down here. So I put like other things in here, and this portion became my site. So it's, it comes to that thing of how you think about these pieces like this. This could be the sky right here, and this could be the water on a flat plane like this. Or you can make it up into a horizon card like this. I can put an island out there. And it would look good like just like this, flat too. But, when I did it, I don't know, it was probably only with one of those, but it gave it a little bit more of that three-dimensional aspect because you're using the interior of it. Instead of, these are like standard quarter page size cards like this, so it'd be more of like a little tag, that would be more than like a card. But so it's like a horizon tag, I guess. Anyway, can't wait to use them. Want to say a big thanks to Deanna for sending these to me and allowing me to play and have some fun with these. Can't wait to try here. And yeah, looking really good here. Definitely evocative types of things. This one right here, you can add some crepuscular rays, those light beams out of that one right there. And that might be fun. I don't know, all kinds of things. Even looking at this right here, it's kind of a really evocative type of color scheme like that. I don't know, they seem really deep in terms of space, and that's what Deanna's really good at, you know, creating space and volumes within her pieces, and definitely with her background papers. Okay, thanks for watching.